picking up in the middle of 15. Valerium probum, in the accusative, a grammaticum, a grammatician illustrious. Okay, from a familiar of his, from a friend of his, being a learned man, compare, I've discovered this Valerium probum fellow. He said this of the works of Sallust, satis eloquentia, sapientem parum. So there's enough of eloquence, but there's least amount of wisdom. Breve, shortly antiquem, before he deceded from life, before he died. Thus to read coipi, he began to read it, and thus affirmed that it was a relictum, it was left by Sallust, that it was satis loquentia, as enough of loquaciousness and least of sapientia, of wisdom, because loquentia is maxime congruent. It's greatly congruent with the new types of words, novatore verborum of Sallust. And eloquentia, which was in this first reading, it's leastly convenient, leastly congruent with this kind of incipientia, which is a lack of discretion we see they use in the lobe for it. 19. However or moreover, who is qui modo of this type of loquaciousness, of this type, is an accusative, its confusion of words with this magnitude of emptiness, this vast amount of emptiness, the most facetissimus, the most witty, superlative, poet Aristophanes, with these insignibus vocabulus, with these striking words, is denoted in these verses. Something in Greek, which is a stubborn, creating, stubborn, pulling fellow, uncurbed, unfettered, uncontrolled of speech, unperiphrastic, bombastiloquent, to take from the lobe. And to finish at 20, nequi minus. And neither less insignificantly or pointedly were also, quoque, our veteres nostri, our older people, or our veterans, or people of ancient times, called this genus of men, these men in this genus, in words projectos, they project them in these words, to be locutelios, babbler, blatterons, gabbers or gabblers, and linguaces, chatterboxes, dixerant they called them. Book 16. Which words are these? Quadrigarius, it's got a capital letter, so that's proper pronounce his name. From his third book of the Annals, he has said, something in a quote, there, ibi, 1,000 of men, occiditored. So this looks like a partitive genitive. This is not licenta, done by license, nor some figure of used of poets, but this is a certain rationale or reasoning, and it's probra, so it's upright and good. Dicta, words of grammatical discipline, sunt they are. And we'll italics that. So Quadrigius, in the third of his annals, he thus has written, there occiditor, killed 1,000 of men. He uses occiditor, not occiduntur, so this one is singular and this one's plural. Likewise, Lucilius, in his third book of satires, to the porter is 1,000 from port to port, so we're going from one port to other is 1,000 s. So 1,000 is used singularly, sex indi, and from then to Salernum in the accusative it is 6. He's using 1,000 est, not 1,000 sunt. 3. Varro, in his XVII, in his 17th book, Humanarum, on the Deeds of Men or something, he writes, add to the initium of Romulus is more than 1,100 of years. It is est. So again, he's using est, not sunt with Mille. Marcus Cato, in his Primo of Origins, in his first book of Origins, then it is firme, almost 1,000 passum, 1,000 paces. 5. Marcus Cicero, in his Sexta against Antony, in the sixth book against Antony, Here's a question. Ita. Thus is in the middle Janus. Middle Janus is where the bankers are. What have we got here? The seat of money lenders. Is this clientela? Is this patronage of L. Antinous? For whoever in that Janus is there found who will ferret, who will bear the expenses of 1,000 numums, of 1,000 coins. So who can you find in this money lending section who will give 1,000 of coins, or 1,000 coins to L. Antonius, which would be Antonius? 6. In these, Atticae, and in many others, milli, numero, the number 1,000, dictum est, is said to be singular. Neither this, as certain other people putant think, is a vetustasti, is a very old concession, and or is admitted through figurum concitum. This is just a pretty looking type of figure, but this it seems to be demanded by ratio, by the reason or the rationale behind it. 8. Annum milli. For 1,000 is not placed there pro eo for itself. What the Greeks dicator, what they say is a kliloi, but chilias, I don't know how to pronounce Greek, and it's just as you would say one group of 1,000 or two groups of 1,000. Thus you would say 1,000. So 1,000 takes est because it is one, and we say 2 millia, 2,000s. A certain indirect, it is said by a certain indirect reasoning. Okay. Quem obram. Why, or therefore, this also is recte, right, and probably is solitum, accustomed to be said. There's 1,000 of denariuses in the arca, in the chest, est, there is. And there's 1,000 of horses in the army, there est, there is. Lucilius, however, moreover, besides which I've placed above, besides what I've written above, he's quoque also in alia loco, in another place, has demonstrated this more manifestius. For in book 15, Libro 15, Ita dicit, he says thus, him who 1,000 paces or a mile has vicariate as one, and in 2, what have we got here? This doesn't follow a sonops, in poetry that's a horse, a Campanian horse from that area. Succussa is being jolted and banged about. A succussion is like a percussion. But in more space, it would seem to go in a different direction, or it would run differently. So you've got to compare to 1 mile and 2 mile, but looks like if it was a different distance in space, it would seem to be different. Likewise, in Nono Libro, in the 9th book, I'll scroll a bit. 2 potes. You are able, looks like with 1,000 of coins, 1,000 sesterces, to quere, search for, can mean to get or to obtain, uno centum, 100,000. That's just the way they do their things with coins. Okay, so Daily Dictionary, quero, search for, seek for, strive for, to ask. I use it a lot for asking as well, but it does have obtain there, so that's one form of it. 13. For Dixit, he said, milli passum pro for milli passibus, and uno milli numum pro unus milli numus, showing apertly or openly that milli is a vocabulum. It means it's a noun. And to be said as a singular number, it has a plural, a plurativum in millia, which if you know your miles, you would have seen this plenty of times. Millia passum is 1,000 paces equals a mile. And it even has a case, or it even takes the case of the ablative. So it's definitely a vocabulum. It's a noun. 14. For neither keteros, other cases ought to be required. When sense there are pluriqui, there are many other vocabulary, many other words, which take only, tantum is only, a single case. They're called indeclinables. And there are quaedem, certain other ones, which in nullem are declined or inclined. So that just means I've got a list in the downloads of there's adjectives and there's nouns, there's a bunch of things that don't decline. And finishing up, 15, qua propter, on account of which nihil, there's no doubt now, doubt takes quin, that Marcus Cicero in the oration, which he scripted, which he wrote pro Malone, in defence of Malone, thus he left it, real acquitted, it's scriptum written as this, before the fundum Clodi, for the estate or farm of Clodius, in which farm, on account of those insane substructures, must be the way it was built, strange, easily 1,000 of men, milli hominum, versabator, living, of strong men, you might want to say valentium, not versabantor. So he said there's 1,000 of men, bartor, not bantor, which in Libris, in books, menos accuratus, less accurate, scriptum as it is written. For this is the other rule or Rashian way of thinking, that you say 1,000 men, and in another it says 1,000 of men, dicendum, it is said. Okay.